You're listening to From a Certain Point of View, the only Star Wars podcast to care enough to strap you, our 60%ers, in and take you on a ride. Because this pod's hotter than a sauna on Mustafar and more tantalizing than a Twilight dancer of snorting spice rails. Do it again. More tantalizing than a Twilight dancer after snorting spice rails at Jabba the Hutt's bachelor party. You can't laugh when I'm doing these. And I really got to learn to give myself commas.
Well, that's the thing I was going to say is you literally need to type in your text pause.
I do.
Pause or breath.
Like Ron Burgundy. I'll just keep going and going. I'm not Ron Burgundy, though. I'm Jason the Angry Ginger Jedi Guy. I'm broadcasting live from inside the newly formed Wookiee Poo Studios. I'm not alone on the Skype lines. Sitting across from me, kind of, but not really, is host, guy who runs the ship behind the scenes, Darth Mathias.
Hello. I was just commenting before we got on about how the studio's coming together nicely. You look like a proper podcaster. I really need to do something back here. I need to put like a green screen behind me and just do random shit.
Yeah, you can do that. It'd be probably cheaper.
I think it would. Because otherwise people just look behind me and just go like, "What? You're just in your bedroom, or what is that?" I don't know what that is.
Well, yeah, I mean, 9 times out of 10, people would watch and be like, "Yeah, that fits."
True. If you would like to find our show from a certain point askew.com or on Twitter at FACPA Pod, you can email us facpapod@gmail.com. We're doing a giveaway while we're doing this Bad Batch Season 3, this final season of Bad Batch. And that giveaway, you can participate in many ways, answering our questions of the week, sending us emails, sending us voicemails, writing reviews, sending us story entries for our From a Certain Point Askew story time adventures. All those things will allow you to possibly win some original OG 1980s Kenner figures. Prune Face, the Rancor Keeper, the Emperor, etc.
Yeah, so if you want to play with your toys or add to your collection, join in all the fun and send us one of those things, a review, a story. And, I want some voicemails coming in. We saw a lot of action when we first did the episode for the, From a Certain Point of View stories, right? Mm-hmm. We saw that on Twitter, but we didn't really get anything in. I want to hear from people. I want to see what they liked, what they didn't like, because then we can use that to move forward with the next thing.
We want your feedback. We want your comment cards, but in the form of a voicemail.
Right. Put them in the box.
Yep.
Or, voicemail. I love the voicemails.
Yeah.
Hurry up and play or stop, or what do you call that? Stop play?
Okay, stop. I totally stole that from another show, but yes. Okay, stop.
Fair enough.
All right, what's on the show?
On the show today, we got question of the week. Guess who's back? In the news, film and TV series Rumor Round Robin. There's quite a few things in there we'll talk about. Bad Batch Episode 5, The Return, we'll be discussing. And then we'll go into the 2 emails we've got in the Maul Bag and 1 voicemail on our FACPA Answering Machine.
And it's not from who you think it is.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So
it might be the first time we've had a voicemail from someone else, right?
No, we've had other voicemails.
Okay.
But you don't pay attention. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, there's been 139 of these episodes.
That's right. There's been a lot. Question of the week I put out there before the episode came out, obviously. This week, the Bad Batch is titled The Return. Who will we see show up to shock us? Is Tech back from the dead? Is this the week we get Asajj? Will Zero the Hutt show up for no reason? Oh.
God, I wish.
So we got a lot of answers. Quite quickly. It's kind of funny when some of these questions hit a little more than others. It's just this bombardment of notifications.
There's a list this time. There's like pages and pages. Yeah. I was like, are we doing 2 shows here?
Quite a lot. So JD Fish from the Blue Milk Cafe podcast just posted that picture of Asajj. Wants Asajj. Unfortunately, not what happened.
She did not come back yet.
No. Next up was Wade from Records of the Republic. He said, this is where we see Omega thank Sid for teaching her how to read and play strategy games, then strangle her with Tech's goggles. No loose ends. I like where you're coming from, Wade. I wish we got to get it at some point. We got to get Sid at some point, right?
Oh,
they're not just going to let her
talked about
be
that
gone.
last week. Yeah, that thread's hanging, and she needs to be dealt with.
And I don't want redemption.
It needs to be no. I don't want redemption either. I want her dead.
Dead.
Yeah. Like maybe they accidentally run into each other on a ship, or they're in the same place or something. They're like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then, Wrecker just fucking rips her throat out.
I want Omega to walk into her bar and lock the door behind her and go, now you can't leave. And then just beat the living shit out of her.
You want Omega to do it?
Yes. and then hold her head up and go, I did this to you. Look at me. I did this
Once
to you.
she figures out how to use the Force, she's like, I know I'm using this on.
Next is Ro from Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. It's referring to Kathleen Kennedy after being fired so many times. Oh. I love how he has that image of her with the Scarif podcast shirt on. Mm-hmm. Vader Rapina says, I'm leaning toward Ventress.
Vader Rapina. That's a new person, right?
Oh, no. Vader Rapina's sent some stuff in before to us.
Okay.
Yeah. Next, Hyperspace Heroes podcast says the ultimate power couple and their banker to talk finances for 3 episodes. And it's your gal Mon with Perrin.
I don't see myself in that picture.
Do we remember what the name of that banker guy is? I can't remember his name now.
I don't remember either. And I was writing the story.
Oh, you better get
that.
that.
For the next one. And I was like, what is this dude's name? So I got to look that up.
Okay. Also, Hyperspace Heroes podcast just posted a picture of of Poe saying somehow Maul returned. And I love how it's just Maul kind of sneaking in from
peeking
the side.
in. Yeah, I like that.
Ash Rendar says the one and only General Veers. Have you seen that there's that account that's called Veers Watch or whatever? And it's just every time there's a show, it goes, no Veers. Every time the show comes, like there's
their tweet?
Yeah, they'll just be like, no Veers, Veers in this one. It's
Okay.
pretty funny. Legacy of Naboo, a.k.a. Ray Skybridger, says it's about time and posted a picture of Jar Jar. I don't think it's happening.
Yeah, I don't either.
No. Max Rebo Experience, you already mentioned Tech's return, so I think it's going to be Roland Durand with the tip of his horn haphazardly reattached with a sloppy bandage.
I like that.
Super glue.
Yep.
You're not going to guess what Adelphi Rangers NRSF said.
I bet you it has something to do with Carson Teva.
We will finally get the backstory.
They need to be Carson Teva's like publicist.
I think so. Maybe that's who we need to try to get on the show.
Right. Yeah. Oh.
I'm forgetting his name now, but
I don't know if he's ever done a podcast before, but we get him on the show,
Yeah.
and then Adelphi is just like, wait a minute. What?
gonna blow his wad in his pants.
You stole him.
You stole him. Yeah, he said we will finally get the backstory of a young Carson Teva with a wink. SPG Superpower Geek says young Boba Fett, please. I still think there's a good chance that's coming.
I do too. There has to be, right? Or at least like some knowledge, or I just don't see how we get out of this without Omega knowing that one part of her story.
It seems like a throwaway to not include, like to not mention it in some fashion. You've told us that they're brother and sister. You told us they're the Alpha and the Omega. So why would you not include him later? I don't know.
Yep. Oh, I wonder if like they have to get together and like consummate their relationship.
What was that word you just used?
Yep, I think I said it wrong.
Did you mean to say consummate?
That's what I said. Yeah.
That is not
You're
okay.
not letting me get away with anything today, and I'm not happy about it.
They're like 15-year-olds. I don't want to see that.
I don't need to happen. It doesn't need to happen now. Maybe it'll be like what was that Brooke Shields movie where they were like teenagers rolling?
Blue Lagoon?
Yeah, right.
Oh wow.
The two of them crash land on a tropical planet.
Yeah.
And they don't find out they're brother and sisters till after like they're found like enemy mine. They've got children running around.
Enemy mine. Jesus. Pulling out all the great references today.
Oh,
you want to get it like within the next 20 years of where we are now? 70s and 80s
What
movies.
was the one I pulled 2 out of last All in the Family?
Yeah, All in the Family.
Yeah.
Your references are amazing. Okay. Yet another Star Wars podcast says a curse on the writers who killed Tech. A double curse on any writer who turns that into a fake out death. Oh, he does not want to return. Kronos 327, a.k.a. Blue Mama. Or Manma, sorry. Manma?
Blue and Manma.
I'll take 0 over Jar Jar. Yeah, that's fair. Yubcast says they've been dropping hints for the past 36 episodes. You have to pay attention. If you take every other letter from the titles of Bad Batch episodes in reverse order, it spells Ahsoka and Stinky. Remember Stinky, Jabba's son?
Yeah, that was the first the Rebels movie, right?
I think or the Clone Wars movie.
It was the Clone Wars. It was the whole plot. The first 3 episodes were of that stupid ass.
God, it was a rough start.
Who thought let's release this as a film?
I don't know. I think I've told you the story, I believe, but that the guy on my hockey team has not gone back to Star Wars since he went to that in the theater and was like, "The fuck is this?" And he's like, "And I'm done."
Yeah.
He's been done with Star Wars ever since. Matt, a.k.a. Son of a Wookiee, says the return of Crosshair to the batch. Well, you might be right.
Got it. Nailed it.
Archie, maybe is how you say that. People are going to be real surprised when they reveal Zero is behind everything that ever happened in the Star Wars universe. Oh, gross.
Zero is dead, right?
Zero is dead. Well, allegedly.
Yeah. Well, I guess he'd still be alive no, hold on. No, he'd be dead.
He'd be dead. That happened in the Clone Wars.
Yep. I had to go and see if that was Rebels or Clone Wars.
Ezra says Asajj Ventress, another Asajj Ventress guess. Krista V says, I think it'll be a return to Pabu. Well, that happened.
Yep.
Brian Hour says Wrecker finally returns all the empty fizzy drink bottles, funding the batch's life on the lam for a whole year. Real Speak says, pretty sure it refers to the batch accepting Crosshair back in the group. Okay, people are on the right track here. It's going to be Tech, says Ray Bad Batch.
Do you think
Unfortunately,
there were
it's
people
not.
that were let down thinking that it was going to be Tech and it wasn't?
I don't. Well, I mean, I think that storyline is still in play.
I get the idea of wanting Tech to be alive. Good character. He's part of the Bad Batch. We spent so much time with him, but like, it takes away from like the fact that there's like real danger in this show.
Yeah, you want to have some sacrifice and some consequences. It's kind of like when C-3PO wiped his memory and then they just had a backup of it. And it was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to give C-3PO this moment where he's like, I'm going to sacrifice this for the good of our group. I want to take one last look at my friends. And then you're like, oh, well, then he just gets a backup and basically missed like 8 hours.
Which was a lot for 3PO.
That's true. A lot happens. Finally, Peyton Costal says, Sid will become a fulcrum agent in Rex's resistance network. Please, God, no. No redemption for Sid. I'm going to say it again. Thank you, everybody, for sending in your question of the week answers. You all get an entry. We look forward to your responses next week when I try to come up with something else.
Yeah.
All right, news, just one item, but it's kind of a round robin of news from different film and TV series that are upcoming. So first up is the Mando Grogu film. We spoke, I think it was last week, about the info coming out of like they were putting. Oh my God, you love when I fuck up.
Oh, only because like you love when I do. So I feel like we're back to zero now.
We're even.
Crossed
Yes.
each other out.
We talked last time about how they were doing the production, like it sounded like squarely in California, which worried me because I thought that meant they were going to rely too much on the volume.
All about the tax credit.
Exactly, getting that big tax credit.
Right.
Sounds more like a chunk of the filming is going to take place in the UK as well, they're saying now, which is good. One would assume that's Pinewood.
Right.
I still want more on-location shots. I as much as I think it's great that they're going to use the volume for certain things like space stuff, because you can't really film that in space.
Yeah, it's a little cheaper to just go to the volume for that.
Yes, but I need exteriors. I want exteriors.
Yeah.
I don't want them cheating.
We talked about this, what was a year or so ago when they had released, they were building like a volume in Atlanta, one in London, Australia, because LA was the original, right? There was one or two there. They need to just like knock down the wall and turn that into one. I think what would help if they start making these bigger, because we've talked about the way the camera moves.
So they can walk at a normal pace?
Yeah, it never seems. Yeah.
Not do
Instead
the
of
slow
putting them on a
walk?
treadmill and like, I'm really walking here.
Yeah. We're off, guys. We got a long way ahead.
Mhm.
Trot.
Yeah.
Next is the Rey Jedi Order movie. Allegedly, they are casting for 3 other leads in the film, including 2 apprentices for Rey and the main villain. Oh, don't fuck it up.
Dude, I didn't I call this? I called this. I said there were 2 apprentices for Rey in my story I made up, right?
Well, I mean,
I think they were her kids, but they were apprentices.
you are the mind behind the Star Wars universe. You are the secret source for Filoni and Story Group. Word is that they are starting production possibly later this year or early 2025 in the UK. And they're saying it's not slated to be part of like a trilogy. It's not kicking off a trilogy, though there might be a sequel. What?
Well, they've stood by this from the beginning. Like, it's almost like, well, we're making another one, but if you don't like it, that's all you're getting.
Right. Certainly seems like a wait and see.
You know there's going to be a fucking other one, so stop saying there isn't.
Unless it absolutely bombs, there's going to be another one.
It's not going to bomb.
I mean, Solo was supposed to be more than one, and
Right.
they
Yeah,
fucked
true.
that one up. But I don't see that happening like this. You got Daisy Ridley. You're 100% making a trilogy.
If they start making enough Star Wars in sequential order, right? Like they're shooting in Atlanta, they're shooting in LA, they got one in Australia, one in the UK. They really could shoot the shows on each of those, like, you know what I mean? Like, get the cast together from one to the other. Or if they need scenes from one, you know what I mean? It would be so much easier for them to move around. And then you'd never be able to know what the hell they're actually doing.
That's true. And that's the most important thing. Secrecy.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, Ahsoka Season 2 is rumored to start filming later this year.
Yeah, like September, something like that I heard.
Yeah, they got a lot of shit in production right now.
Yeah.
I mean, over the next 12 months, they have so many things going on.
You know, Filoni's like, he's in his meeting. He's like, yeah, I waited for the writer's strike to end.
Yeah, right.
Wink,
No kidding.
wink. Yeah. I may have wrote 3 bonus episodes.
He's also like, hey, I was planning on taking vacation, like late summer. Is that? No, that's not going to happen? Okay, never mind.
How do you not do it? Like, all the work he's doing, he's got to be attached to all these shows. He's the creative consultant, all this stuff. He's writing a series. He's going to do a movie. He's, giving Favreau, like, okay, this works, but you got to throw a Star Wars character in this. All of that silence, and he can just write.
I think I'm worried about him burning out, but I think he absolutely fucking eats this shit up.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, he dreams this shit.
Yeah. The dude's doodling on napkins constantly.
You think his wife is like, she has like a rule?
Like a cutoff?
6 to 10 p.m., you don't fucking talk aliens.
I don't care who that character is.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. George Lucas really loved that character. Thanks, Dave. God, take your pants off. Anyway. Acolyte Season 2 sounds like a go. They already have a writer's room, allegedly.
Right. I would guess it's the same writer's room.
Yeah, well, you would think it would be similar, but there'd probably be some variation. As for Season 1, allegedly, again, there's a trailer being prepped. Didn't you already have one? I guess it's probably a nicer trailer than the one they showed last year at Celebration, but they said it could release soon. I was kind of hoping it would happen this week, so I'd look like a fucking genius, but no such luck.
I looked up the March Madness thing, and we were right. It was like the 22nd, 25th, somewhere in there was the... Was it Sweet 16 or the? I think that's what it was. I ended up looking it up, and I was like, "Oh, that's when I was guessing." And then it was like a couple days later, they had announced that they were gearing up a trailer. So I was like, "Oh."
Well, right, but as Max Rebo pointed out, and I thought about this as I was editing our episode last week. Not the same channel. That's all CBS, TNT, TBS. That's not ABC.
Nothing's on ESPN.
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they could certainly advertise it on CBS.
So yeah, okay. Nope, you got me. I didn't know that.
There you go, Max. You get credit. I don't know. I still feel like it could be as early as next week. They got to get something out soon.
Yeah.
They have not backed off. Well, I shouldn't say backed off. They have not said boo about that date that's been thrown out, which makes me think that that's a legit date, the June 5th. Get fucking on it. Let's go.
I wonder if because next week is 2 episodes, right?
Yes.
I wonder if there'll be some weird tie-in to something, and then they launch the trailer.
Oh, they do like to do that.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It could be.
They are also saying that it's allegedly going to be 30 to 40. I gotta stop saying allegedly because I say like 100 times already. Supposedly. 30 to 45-minute range for the episodes, not 1-hour chunks, which is about, that's like kind of what Mando was, right? 30 to 45 minutes-ish.
Yeah, they run right in there usually.
Makes sense. I think the Andor eps were a little bit longer. I need to rewatch Andor. Every time I see some clip of it or something, I always go, God, I need to sit down and rewatch that damn show. I loved it so much, and I haven't gone back.
Rewatch works, man. Told you I watched it a couple months back now, and loved every bit of it.
Watched it with your lady.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to get her in the mood.
Fuck. She never tells me to stop talking aliens.
Let's talk corruption and
That's her pillow talk. Hey, out of these 4, what is the one you're looking forward to the most? Is it Acolyte?
That's the next one, so it's easy to say that.
Yeah.
I think it's Acolyte over Ahsoka Season 2 only because it's new and I want to really see what they're going to do with it.
Right, okay.
As far as the movies go, yeah, I guess Acolyte just because it's different.
Yeah.
I have an idea of what those other 3 are going to be. The Jedi Order one's going to be fun just because it's a totally new space, even though it's still Rey. But I think they're going to bring in some heavy hitters for that fucking movie. I think that's going to be fun.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, you want to talk Bad Batch?
Batcha.
Batcha.
Batcha. What are you smelling, Batcha?
First of all, it was fun to see the team back in action. Granted, no tech, which is sad. By the way, I was thinking about that. I was thinking maybe one of those cadets they can make like into a techie nerdy guy, and he can take tech's place. They need a tech guy.
So they need to hop on like Indeed, like they're hiring.
They've got those guys right there on Pabu. I'm thinking one of them might be a tech nerd.
Okay.
And they just bring him into the mix, like it's like the intern.
Yeah, but like how much tech do they have there? I feel like they got like like their Google, but it's all about their island.
It's dial-up.
Yeah. Yes.
I think that it would be fun if you had him as an intern and then just watch like Crosshair just abuse that intern all the time.
Just irritated with like how slow they are with their tropical lifestyle and
I do love the fact that they really focus on the tension and the rocky relationship that exists between Crosshair and Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even Echo gets quite sassy with Crosshair. It's kind of funny. Echo's like a different guy when he shows up.
But Echo, if I recall, Echo didn't spend a lot of time with Crosshair, right?
Before everything went pear-shaped?
Yeah.
He did, in the sense that they're the ones who rescued, I believe that was in the last season of Clone Wars. They're the ones who rescued Echo, right?
And then he kind of stuck around a little bit, but then he kind of tore balls off, and Crosshairs was already an asshole on episode 1. So there was,
But they worked together kind of before the Bad Batch kicked off. So they were together for a bit. You're right, though. They don't have quite as deep a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I felt like at first I thought they needed to show us, more of I said this last week, more of the Crosshair Omega thing before they put them all back in the mix. But I think it's working to put them all back in the mix. It's forcing them to deal with their feelings, Jay.
Yes, it is.
Let's confront each other.
Yep.
And Omega just keeps harassing him about it. Talk to him. You got to talk to him. We speculated heavily, as we did earlier on the question of the week, on what the return might have meant. So is it all these things, or is it just like it's the return of Crosshair to the group, it's the return of Echo to the group, it's the return to the outpost location where Crosshair's like redemption really kind of started? Is it all those things?
Return to Pabu, it's
return to Pabu. Yeah,
there's a lot of returns happening here. Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, it's all of them. All right. Well, let's go through this. Unless you had any other overall thoughts.
No, I'm good. Let's go.
We open with Omega sleeping with her old doll on the Marauder, and they're back on Pabu.
Yeah, she wakes up to the skylight and the ship.
Yep.
Back to
beautiful,
being...
beautiful weather. Nice Mediterranean climate.
Yep.
Really
She's
nice.
like, this isn't prison. This is life.
She's like, this is really good for my skin. I like being here.
Right.
She goes looking for Crosshair and finds him doing target practice with AZ.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him in a while. Nice to see
I
he's
love
around.
how he's just holding fruit the size of an apple. I'd be like holding a pumpkin way out, watching that dude's shaky ass hand.
And every time he misses, he's just like, oh, that's too bad. Mm-hmm. Like, whoa, dude, you're almost getting plugged in the face. You know that, right? Crosshair's, got that shaky hand, is really struggling.
Hold on. I'll stop right here.
Mm-hmm.
What is AZ doing? Why is he not on the ship traveling with them? Like, why is he not part of the team? Is he like holding down the fort? Is he making sure like no one's raiding their little, I don't know, patio area when they're not on Pabu? Like, where's this guy at?
When last we saw him, he was serving drinks at Sid's bar, so he is kind of this.
Yeah, that's right. He didn't escape with them, did he?
He's just kind of one of the people that's in the bigger group that they have, even though he was a fucking hero, saved them on Camino.
When they were all dying.
Yes, and he almost died himself doing it. But yeah, I mean, he probably needs to get more play, but there must be a reason they don't tag him along in these missions. Like they feel like they don't need him. He needs to hold down the fort, I guess.
I think they're making a big mistake. I think, there needs to be an Echo-centric episode. And then whatever happens, wherever this carries over, he better go.
Okay.
Did I say Echo?
You did say Echo?
AZ.
That's okay.
Easy. Yeah.
AZ.
You know what I meant.
Yeah. Did you say easy? Easy E.
Yeah, easy.
That just created a whole great storyline if it was Easy E. He would say "fuck the Empire."
Yeah, he would.
Well, I love the fact too that Crosshair is like the reluctant homie to Batcher now. The dog just wants to hang out with Crosshair all the time.
Yeah, he's like imprinted on him. All of a sudden, he's just like that's his dog.
We kind of thought it would be Wrecker that would be fast friends with Batcher, but it's really Crosshair's dog at this point. Omega tells Crosshair that he could have his hand looked at by AZ, but he's like, nah, I'm good. He just refuses. Doesn't want any help.
Right. He doesn't want to admit there's an issue.
Exactly. It's like when somebody says, you could maybe use a hearing aid. No, I'm fine. It's kind of like that. I haven't been told that yet. I'm not that old. Omega also tells Crosshair that he's going to have to bridge that gap with Hunter and Wrecker. Got to make amends, because he's like, they don't trust me.
Have you fucking seen some of the memes?
Of which?
On Twitter of this is Hunter and Crosshair. And it's like, a scene from a movie. I'm trying to think of the one that made me spit out my drink almost, where it was, oh God, what was it? But it was all of them were this person creeping from the back, looking longingly at another character, like how Hunter kept fucking looking over at him.
He kept an eye on him this whole episode. I mean, as angry as Wrecker was at the end of last episode, I kind of felt like he would get over it quicker. He seems like he's really tied into the Brotherhood and just wants everybody to get along and that kind of thing, even though he kind of had that mean look on his face. I figured Hunter would have issues, but I guess I kind of forgot until I thought back on it just how much Hunter and Crosshair were at odds with each other from the start of this whole show.
From the get-go, yeah.
I mean, it started with the whole Kanan thing.
Right.
They had very, huge differences there.
He's still mad at him for lying about, you told me you slaughtered that little boy. Why didn't you?
Yeah, why didn't you kill that kid?
Yeah.
So that runs deep. And it just seems like they're I don't know if it's like two alphas necessarily, or just there's something about them that they have trouble getting along. They come to a head every time.
Well, they're brothers.
They're brothers. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So Echo arrives, and listen, I love the Kiner music. I really do. What the fuck was this song that they were playing? What was this music they were playing when Echo arrived? Is that an Echo theme? I don't remember.
Were you crying right away?
No, like the music was like, it was like this weird like carnival music or something.
Oh.
I didn't understand what was going on. It's possible. It almost sounded like this like Disney-esque whimsical upbeat yay music or something like that. It was very strange. But I thought maybe this was an Echo theme I forgot about. I don't know, but it just seemed kind of goofy. But we got past it pretty quick. And I do like the line from Crosshair when he walks out and goes, "No hug for me."
Mm-hmm. And then right away, he's like, depends on what kind of information you have.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Echo is sassy, man. Echo, like, he seems a little different, doesn't he? Like his time with Rex has kind of made him, he's certainly like become almost like kind of the de facto leader on this mission. And he's having to play referee between those two, Crosshair and Hunter.
But he's got his eyes on a different ball, right? Like that's why he left, and I think he's still trying to get them on the same page where they've got to go and deal with this shit instead of their own little. Well, at first it was let's protect
Omega,
and then it's let's go save her. Mm-hmm. Everything is like there's a bigger thing we need to deal with. He's
got the larger picture in mind for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They have this little evening debrief where Omega's kind of talking about what's going on in Tantus. And then, of course, Echo asks Crosshair, it's like, you got anything to add? He's like, well, couldn't do much for myself. All right.
Uh-huh.
But then you get this really sad bit because they're like, well, if we could just find a way to like crack into Nalisay's iPad, we could maybe get some intel on Tantus. And then Echo's like, yeah, but getting past that Imperial encryption, it won't be easy, especially without tech. And all synchronized, all of their heads go down together.
Yeah. And they even put the camera on Crosshair. He even kind of drops. And I'm like, so we know he knows.
He knows.
But like we as a watcher, we want to see this conversation happen,
I think that's something that a lot of people felt was missing. They wanted to see the emotional impact it might have on him or his reaction finding it out.
Yeah.
And I mean, I saw somebody make a point when I was reading something about it where it said, well, maybe this really just means we are going to see Tech come back at some point because they're really not spending a lot of time going over the impact of his death. They're kind of moving on.
Okay, so not spending a lot of time on it. So when you get him back, you're not like, well, they just had 3 episodes where they were torn up over him.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, right. We're not seeing the therapy sessions.
Yeah.
We're trying to deal with Tech's death. So, And then Crosshair's like, hey, we could bypass that if we get to an Imperial terminal, and I know of a place. Did you think it was going to be the outpost right away, or did you think?
I wasn't surprised that it was when I saw it. I wasn't quite sure what he was talking about because, to me, it could have been anything.
Yeah. Despite Hunter saying that Omega and Wrecker should stay on Pabu, she ain't hearing it. She's like, we're not going to split the group up. I'm not going to do that again because he's a little gun shy now. Doesn't want her to get captured again. That's going to come into play in a little bit later. So we get this nice moment where they're gathering up supplies and kind of getting ready to take off. And Crosshair tells Omega, like, don't blame him. He just wants to protect you. And then I like how she calls him her little brother. I'm older than you.
Yeah. And again, Hunter is up in the ship and he peeks out.
Yeah, I know. Is this right? Because he's always doing that. The whole episode, he's creeping like on Crosshair.
Feel like.
Yeah, right. At some point, Crosshair's gonna be like, "Would you please?" He's gonna be in the shower. He's gonna be like, "Hunter, enough." We got a chuckle out of Crosshair. He actually goes, I don't know if we've ever seen him laugh.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, he's coming into his own.
Yeah, she's breaking through. And then that's quickly followed up by this little scene where Wrecker comes out and brings out this case for Crosshair, and he opens it and finds Cerveza Cristal. Yes. Cerveza Cristal. I had to throw that in there.
I'm so happy you did.
It's actually his old armor. Still fits. So he's staying in shape. Well, when you don't eat, you can still fit in your old
stays
armor.
In the show. You have to just find a place to put that.
It's going to keep coming.
I was going to do a drop for you. I didn't have a chance to do it, but every time you mention fucking Tech, I'm going to get some song to play. Some Fallen, or it's got to say something.
Do it. Free Fallen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Wrecker's basically like, I didn't have the heart to throw it out. So he clearly was always holding out hope that they would be reunited as brothers. So we go to Barton 4. That was the name. I had to look it up. The name of the place where the outpost was.
The outpost.
Yeah, obviously this is where Crosshair had quite a change of heart. Because he worked with that guy. I kept wanting to call him Midway. It's Mayday. After they went after those raiders together and came back. Mayday was like dying, and Lieutenant Nolan, that prick, was just like, don't care. You're disposable anyway. Right, and he's like, so are you. Boom, kills him. So this is really where he turns it around, starts his redemption arc, I guess you could say. Yeah, that's what leads him to be arrested and transferred to Tantus.
Right.
So they notice that there are these sensors around the perimeter, and Crosshair tells them, that's for detecting local raiders. Don't worry, they're all dead.
Yeah. Well, how do you know? I'll give you one guess. Is that what he says?
He says, how do you think? Something like that.
Yeah.
But man, the conversations between him and Hunter are just getting more and more catty. They are just digging at each other.
It's building. Like it's coming to a point where they're going to have to throw fisticuffs.
Yeah. Knives out.
Right.
and Echo's having to intervene, but they find the terminal and decide to divert all power from the sensor beacons. And at first you're thinking, well, that's a terrible idea, but I guess at this point they figure there's no threat. Everything's gone.
Right. Yeah.
So who cares? So then Crosshair kind of wanders around, and while they're fiddling with the controls, what does he find? I'm just gonna keep doing it.
Crosshair's gonna be drunk by the end of this episode.
Yeah. No. He finds the helmets of all the clones.
It's the return to alcoholism.
Crosshair really should drink.
Yeah.
I think he's a liquor drinker, though. He's not a beer drinker.
Yeah, but he strikes me as the guy who gets angry, starts smacking his brothers around.
Angry drunk?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. I don't think he would be a good drunk at all.
Omega, go give me another one.
Either that or it's the opposite. He turns into a total goofy guy, does karaoke and shit.
Have I told you guys I love you? Yes.
Yeah, I love you, man.
Stop it. Yeah.
Hunter, I know we fight, dude, but I love you, right, guy? Oh, fuck. So yeah, he finds these helmets on the ground, and he finds Mayday's helmet.
I was just say the one with a bandage or whatever on it was.
Yeah. So and then he kind of stacks them up. I think there was something on the Outpost episode where they did that, where there was some honor they paid.
Oh, okay.
Their fallen brother, so he was kind of doing the same thing. And again, Creeper McCreeperson's watching the whole time. Hunter is just like, what's he doing? But clearly he's seeing some signs that, okay, this guy's not just in it for himself.
Going through something, right.
They shut off the beacons, and Batcher's kind of sensing something, so Crosshair's like, I'm gonna go outside. Batcher he's like, I'm gonna go outside and check this out. He's got his toothpick back.
Yeah. The return.
The toothpick. Finally, we figured it out. And then he drops it because his fucking hand can't stop shaking. Right. He's going to need a lot of toothpicks. Yeah. Are they flavored? Are they like the cinnamon ones or just plain? Hunter comes outside and before that, he sees that vulture. And the vulture is literally pointing, over there. Did you see that with his wing?
No.
Oh, he's literally looks like he's pointing there's a fucking ice worm over there. Careful.
I synced it. Trying to help you guys out.
Yeah. Hint, hint. Hunter follows him outside and just starts grilling him about how he fell out with the Empire, and that's when Crosshair, tells him that he murdered an Imperial officer. And Hunter's like, "Oh, okay." Never mind.
What's Hunter say? Did you not cheat? Did you something on you did us? And he said, "Well,
betray."
Betray. Well, kind of. I did.
He said after they betrayed me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shot him in the back.
Yeah, well, and then this is when Crosshair goes on the offensive and tries to make Hunter feel like shit for putting Omega in harm's way.
Yeah, he's like, I sent you a warning.
Uh-huh.
You're the reason she was sent to Mount Tannis. You're an asshole.
Right, and you're mad because I'm the one that helped rescue her.
It's like, how dare you try to put me in my place? And his fucking fist gets, and then the earth starts to rumble.
Right, but this is we're seeing this jealousy over who is the more protective of Omega or something.
Yeah,
it's like my two dads, but more combative.
Well, they've been fighting for years over who's right and who's wrong.
Right.
It's just, I feel like this probably wouldn't have been their first fight.
No. I wanted it to happen. I wanted them to roll around a little bit and fight because I feel like they need to get it out of their system.
I think so. Yeah, they're like toddlers. They really are. They're like toddlers.
Yeah.
You just got to, little brothers need to fight to get it out of their system.
They do.
Yeah. And it's not toxic.
No, but it's just there needs to be a release. And I don't mean that in a sexual way. But maybe that too. But no, they just the clenching of the fist, the shoving. There needs to be somebody needs to punch somebody in the face.
Yeah, yeah.
Just as they're about to square off, this worm emerges from the ice. I love how everybody's making like Dune references.
Yeah.
And in the process, it kind of half sinks their ship. So now they're kind of
Right.
fucked and they won't be able to easily get out of there. So they decide, okay, we got to fire the sensors back up. We got to make sure the worm's outside the perimeter before we do, or else that's not going to work for us. So they send Wrecker off to go find the fuse box.
When the Earth, it wasn't the Earth, but you know what I'm saying. When the plant, the ground started shaking, were you expecting it to be like the type of creature that was in the first episode of Mandalorian?
Oh, like the second season of Mandalorian. Is that what you're talking about? Where they're with the Tusken Raiders?
Where in the first episode where he goes, I'll bring you in warm, bring you in cold, and he gets back to the ship. He doesn't remember?
Yes, I gotcha.
And that big thing comes out and bites the ship as they're trying to fly away. To me, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I didn't think about that.
Yep. Instead, we've got Frank Herbert's penis come flying out of the ice.
I'm gonna make this creature. It's gonna look just like my penis.
Yeah.
So yeah, Wrecker goes to find the fuse box to reset the grid, and Omega's gonna hang out and fire things up when it's ready. Hunter and Crosshair decide, okay, we gotta lead the creature away. And Echo's like, hey, I'll sit in the tower and watch and spot you guys. Thanks. As they lead the worm away, because that's what they're calling it, worm with a Y. I noticed that.
Okay.
I noticed that in the captions. Yeah, they called it a worm.
They dug into their third edition of the Dungeons and Dragons Monsters Manual.
Sure. Just change one letter. That's all you have to do with Star Wars. Just change one letter. Hunter falls through the ice to this cavern below, and Crosshair yells down to him to like make his way to the perimeter. Did you catch the voice there? We've never heard Crosshair yell. He sounded like Tech. It was weird.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, I don't know if you know this or not.
Same guy?
Voice actor.
Sure. But I'm just saying, I guess we've never heard him yell or raise his voice. It's always been this voice.
That's true.
To hear him yell, it was like, who is this talking? It sounded weird. It's the same guy.
Baker's at home and he hears it. He's like, I fucked up.
He has to cringe every time he watches
Starts
it.
giving
Let me
himself
redo it.
self-punishment. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me redo it. I'll redo it. Maybe that was just a little shout out to Tech. So Crosshair leads the creature away, and he's shooting at it and shit. And they get past the perimeter, and they find this weak point in the ice, so he can make an escape hole for Hunter. And as Hunter realizes the thing is past the perimeter, Crosshair kind of hoists him up. Just they run back and just get past the sensor as Omega flips the switch,
turns it on.
She could have flipped the switch early though, because the sensor doesn't affect them.
Yeah, it wasn't going to stop them at all. But was Batcher with them?
Oh, maybe Batcher. You're right.
Because he picked up on it right away. That's how
maybe he would have been
a
stuck.
signal coming from those.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Not thinking about the dog. So, and then I do like the fact that when they get back, the worm just stops and is staring him down. And Batcher, I mean, it is prototypical dog move.
Yes. Like a little poodle against a pit bull.
Yes. Safely behind the perimeter. It's just like, yeah, you better fucking sit back. Yeah. Very recognizable. We get a little moment of recognition between Crosshair and Hunter, a little head nod. And then they're greeted by Wrecker with a nice big hug. 3-man hug.
Yeah. Right. Get
that.
in here.
And then you get this important moment at the end where Crosshair kind of comes clean with Hunter on how he thought he was doing the right thing. He thought he was being a good soldier. He was kind of duped by the Empire. And he's like, basically like, I did some pretty fucking horrible things.
Yeah.
And Hunter's, kind of trying to show maturity by saying like, look, we all did stuff
Yep.
that we regret. I mean, not war crimes like you, but still we all did some stuff we regret. So all they can do is kind of focus on doing better in the future.
Yeah.
This is the full on standard textbook Star Wars redemption
all
story.
that was missing was Hunter saying, you're going to die,
Right. Saving me.
Yes. It's going to be, or Omega.
I think he's going to die. Yeah, it could be Omega. I think he's going to die saving Hunter. Only other thing I was going to say on that, too, though, is the visuals on the outpost were pretty fucking amazing. The shot that they show where the vulture's flying away and the mountains in the background.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That looks like legit real live action. That was amazing.
It's uncanny sometimes. Like, we've talked about this in some of the episodes where it almost looks real. Like, they need to tone it down for it to look animated.
Yeah.
They did a really good job. It just keeps getting better.
It did. It looked really great. And, I mean, is that... I don't know if there's a whole thing with that vulture. Is that supposed to represent, like, Mayday or what? I was trying to figure that out, exactly what the symbolism was there.
I don't... Other than, like... I think it was just trying to show... Like, because it's circling, but it was almost like... Was it too high so the thing wasn't bothering them, but like all of a sudden then he's on the tower, So he's kind of like, we're learning like there's something else happening, or even like the way they use that. There's the camera angle that zooms in on him and passes the tower, like something's coming past it.
Right.
So I was like, something's going on here. Those towers are for something else besides a couple of guys in fucking snowmobiles that are going to come into
right
raid the outpost.
You would think so. Yeah. So that's it. That's the end of the episode. Kind of leads us to what's next. There's a double episode like you mentioned dropping next week. It's infiltration and extraction. So where and whom?
I think this is probably the episode from the trailer then, with the big tank and what's her face. Wanda Sykes' character comes in.
Oh, Fee.
Yeah.
You think that's what it is?
I think that it's probably that, because that's what the only thing I think from the trailer we haven't seen yet.
So what are they infiltrating and what are they
good question.
Extracting, or is it, because I thought that could be a number of things. One could be it could be the bounty hunters coming in and trying to steal Omega. It could be the Pabu getting infiltrated.
Right. Well, it could have double meaning like this episode. There's a lot of things are going to be happening.
Yeah, it's certainly not going to be them going to Tantus. They're not ready for that yet.
No.
We'll see, but I'm glad that we're going to get a double, because it is nice. I mean, getting the one episode's great every week, but it kind of sucks when you kind of want a second episode. Even like my kid, the consultant was like, is there another one? And I'm like, no, it's just the one. He's like, ah.
It's kind of rough, like going from 3 episodes to like 1 a week.
Yeah. It's a bit of a change. But the nice thing is we get 2 next week. We're going to be off a week, so we'll do 2 the following week. And then I think there's 2 after that. So I think our next 3 episodes we record are all going to be double episodes.
All right.
So a lot of stuff to discuss. Anything else on the return?
Well, no, but on the next 2 episodes, there's got to be something involved with them still trying to find out where Mount Tantus is, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, like, what does that take them?
When are we going to see Rex?
They're infiltrating something to find out more information, but Rex isn't captured.
I know. When are we going to see him? I just want to see him.
Like, what are they invading or going after for more information? It's got to be another Imperial outpost or some kind of base or something like that, because then they're under fire, and there's the shot of the bridge,
right,
like missiles coming in at them.
So you think it's them infiltrating and extracting? You don't think it's the Empire or bounty hunters doing it to them?
I think it's both stories can happen at the same time.
Yeah,
A and B story.
Okay, yeah. It's always good to have. I mean, we didn't get any Empire action this episode.
No,
I always like some Empire action. So.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the Maul Bag. First up, Brian Hour, Evening Scoundrels. I was attending a Twitch birthday party. You were doing what?
I didn't know that was a thing.
And had a thought come to mind. However, given the younger generation's age, I thought better to bring to my brethren of older than dirt folks. How old were the people on the Twitter birthday, Brian?
I know. And how dare you?
Have you ever? This is interesting. Have you ever thought on how much episode 4 is mimicked by the Dukes of Hazzard? Have you ever thought of that?
I feel like he's spun this around on me before, because Brian's been around a long time.
Yeah.
So when I was looking at this, I was like, I feel like he might have brought this up. Maybe when he was over at the house when we were doing Podtoberfest or something.
Okay.
This feels like something he's tried to toss around before, and he's trying to put something out there on the interweb for people to grab onto. It's not a bad idea.
He spends a lot of time in his truck driving, so he's got a lot of time to noodle on these things.
Yeah, lost in thought. You think I'm bad for bringing up like All in the Family or something for a quick joke? He's got a whole fucking theory on Dukes of Hazzard.
This is amazing. So yeah, for those of you who don't know what the Dukes of Hazzard is,
oh boy,
no, I'm not even gonna get into it. So here he does comparisons here. Luke Skywalker equals Bo Duke, the younger cousin, blonde, great pilot / driver. Han Solo equals Luke Duke, wiser, ex-military, better aim. Now I get why he does these choices, but it's very confusing to have Luke Skywalker not be Luke Duke. But I get it.
True.
You know who they never really talked about much on that show, by the way? Their other cousin, David Duke. You know?
I mean, even for, a couple of guys in an orange car with a Confederate flag, it was
That's what I'm saying.
much. Yeah.
It's all right there.
They're just running moonshine. They live in the South. They appreciate their surroundings. They're not meeting up at night with sheets over their heads, partying.
How amazing would that be? Oh, our cousin David just showed up.
At least like he's got to be like the overarching villain. Like once or twice a season, he shows up like the Emperor.
He's got that. Yeah, he's got the hood. It kind of works. Leia equals Daisy Duke, probably the wisest of the 3. Whoa, 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 whoa. So first we're going to get Daisy and Bo kissing, and then Daisy and Luke are going to like bang and get married? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did Daisy ever do anything with either of the brothers?
I don't think so.
Okay.
They were cousins, though. They were. You're saying either of
were
them
they?
being brothers?
Oh, I don't
No, they were smart enough. They were like, look, we know it's the South, but we're not gonna cross that line.
I don't know if my cousin looked like her and dressed like that and jumped through my window.
I mean, she literally set off a trend called the Daisy Dukes.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, as a young man, she was on the list of people you admired.
Underlined.
Yes.
Admired.
Yep. Ben Kenobi equals Uncle Jesse, wise Jedi / ex-moonshiner, used to partner with the lead bad guy. So
now this is something I forget. I didn't realize too, because it's been so long. Like, so the backstory is
Boss Hogg and Uncle Jesse were
was
partners?
it Boss Hogg? Okay, so they were partners at what?
I don't know.
Before. Like, Boss Hogg used to work as a mechanic and things went wrong. They threw wrenches at each other. So Boss Hogg's like, I'm going criminal. Like, what
well, no, he's going law. He's the law of the land, Boss Hogg.
Right, but isn't he, there's like a criminal under.
Well, he's just
thing to him,
dirty
too.
But he
okay.
is the law. He's just, he's kind of a dirty dude. Yeah, he has Vader as Boss Hogg, ex-partner to Jesse, and every local fears him.
Mm-hmm.
That he was disgusting, that Boss Hogg. Imperial officer equals Roscoe. I guess so, because Roscoe's probably too goofy to be Tarkin, huh? You can't really make him Tarkin. Cletus and Enos are the stormtroopers who can't hit anything. That checks out.
Mm-hmm.
Chewie is Cooter. Keep the vehicle in motion. Crazy Cooter. Remember Cooter?
Okay, Cooter was the one that drove the tow truck.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Breaker one. I may be crazy, but I ain't dumb. Crazy Cooter coming at you.
Wow, listen, you know this.
I just remember that line.
You're a little bit older than me, so probably I was like, what, 5 or 6, I think, when I first saw that.
Yeah, I watched that shit.
I watched reruns, but yeah, I know it doesn't live in me. Like, even the Knight Rider was around the same time, but yeah.
Yeah, Knight Rider was just a skosh later. Anyway. I did Chewie. Millennium Falcon equals the General Lee. Fastest hunk of junk around. Very modified, too. So it's a modified vehicle. That checks out. I like your theory.
I do, too.
I think it's a fun one. I've never heard that one before. So well done, Brian. All right, email number 2, Max Rebo Experience. I hope you are having a satisfactory Lenten season. Here's another blast from the past. Since redemption in Star Wars doesn't come without the ultimate sacrifice, do you think Reva's redemption was real? Or will she return to the dark side? She was stabbed in the chest by a lightsaber twice, after all. It's been so long since I watched that show, I kind of was trying to think about it and how it all went down, because she tried to kill Vader.
Yep.
And then he stabbed her.
Yep.
And they kind of left her, right?
Yes, left her for dead.
Yeah. And then she went after Luke. She was trying to finish that mission. She went after Luke, remember?
Did Obi-Wan stab her?
No.
What was the second stabbing? Oh, when she was a kid.
She was a kid.
When she was a kid. Yep. Okay.
So she goes after Luke on Tatooine. That's when Aunt Beru is kicking fucking ass, making Uncle Owen look like a little wimp.
Yep.
She goes after. Remember how it was so dark you could barely see what was happening?
Mm-hmm.
They did a really poor job of lighting it. I mean, granted, I know it's in the middle of the desert, but still. And then she brings him back. She sees herself in him as when she was a youngling, and so she brings him back. And that's when she has this conversation with Kenobi. That's all I remember, but I don't remember exactly where it was supposed to go from there and how that works.
Yeah, because she kind of just walked off into the sunset or some shit, didn't she?
I think so. Into the darkness. It was so fucking
darkness. Right.
So yeah, I don't know. So he's saying, do you think Reva's redemption was real, or will she return to the dark side? Her whole point of being, I mean, granted, she did some evil shit, so there's got to be something in her. But her whole point of going through all this was to get close to Vader to kill him, right? It was a revenge tour for her fellow younglings.
Right. Yeah.
So if she's not motivated by that, I don't know. I mean, I could still see her being motivated to kill Vader.
The darkness was a personal thing more than anything. So,
yeah.
But she strikes me as I don't see her becoming the white light Jedi, you know.
No.
I think that I don't see her becoming a serious dark force user, but maybe an Asajj.
Sure, kind of tweener
to a certain extent. Yeah.
Plays kind of operates in that gray zone. Yeah, I could see that. All right, thank you for the emails. We do have a voicemail on the FACPA Answering Machine. This is from Brown Leader from Hyperspace Heroes. You ready?
I'm ready. Okay, stop.
Okay, stop. Ready? Here we go.
Hey, FACPA boyos. This is Brown Leader signing in, and was just sitting here this morning drinking some calf out of my Ahsoka mug.
You're welcome.
and looking at my Genevieve.
He won that.
Is he doing these pregnant pauses to like kind of emulate Rural Farm Boy?
He's gonna get to that, and it's
Okay.
something that I was going through because I was cleaning up a little bit when I get somebody's voicemail. Try to make it sound a little crisper. Maybe cut out. So I was cutting out some of the pauses. So it's actually way bigger pauses.
Okay.
They were like huge pauses.
So
And then I realized
picked
at
up
the
on
end he was doing it
All
on purpose. Fucker.
Riley poster and
Oh.
realized that I've been busy and falling behind on entries, and Max Rebo's getting ahead of me, so I just can't have that. So I thought I would drop this voicemail to you.
Oh, you want to be a winner.
Since last question of the week was about our dear friend Hargrove there, thought I would submit my tale this way. See, dear...
I love that our wrong names infect the culture.
I think they should.
Yeah.
Hargrove is a great name.
Yeah. I mean, nothing will ever beat Beef Cargo.
No.
But
Yeah, that will always be the best one. And I'm trying to remember, was it you that said it or Cole? Was it you? Probably was you, right?
Beef Cargo?
Yeah.
It was when you and I were doing, I think the 7 Days a
Oh,
Geek one.
it was
I
the
think is where
original.
It was.
God,
yeah.
it goes that far back?
Yeah, because it'd been a while since we saw it. And I was like, I knew I couldn't remember his names, but I knew it was close, so I just called him Beef Cargo or something. Yeah.
I got to go back and listen to that. Okay.
Earl Hargrove, he was a Chad growing up. Played the sports, drove the hot speeder, had rich parents. But he was good at science. And his parents, who were wealthy, did I mention that? Got him into evil doctor school. And he had a kind of a weird roommate, bald sucker that would always teetotal something with the pinky. I don't know. Was always asking for 1 million credits. But that's a story for another time.
Who the hell's he referring to?
Who is that supposed to be? A bald
Like,
person?
Pinky? Is he talking about Dr. Evil?
Oh, I think that's who it is. You're right. It's Dr.
Okay.
Evil. I didn't think about that. That's funny.
No, as for what happened to his hand there, he
Oh, okay.
really fell in love with the science and was so focused on it. But, as he was getting ready to, his last couple of years there was early years of the Clone Wars, and he had this Asajj Ventress poster, and, well, he just wore that poor guy out.
He literally fucked his hand up jerking off too much. Oh, that's good. All right.
So there you go. There's my submission for that. On time, as usual, right?
Yep.
Hope you enjoyed that, and I'm going to see what else I can talk about to add some more pauses
There you go.
to this voicemail. So anyway, guys, keep up the great work. You're definitely in my weekly rotation. I appreciate when those episodes drop, and we need to get you guys back on the show. Jay,
Yeah.
we need to get you here so we can get you that call sign. But working on Furball Squad. Hopefully I'll have something up soon. Trying to get some sort of...
That's his next story for FACPA Stories.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
story
right.
treatment together on that. So, but good to know that you got a May 4th target for the next edition. So I will definitely start putting some more effort into that. Anyway, guys, keep up the great work.
Happy.
What?
So this makes me happy.
Yeah,
That
he's working on
people
shit.
want to put stories in. Yeah.
They want us to come on the show, and he's writing stories. He's checking all the boxes. I hope you win the Darksaber.
And
I do too.
catch you on the next episode. This is Brown Leader signing off, and that's no moon, baby.
So I don't know if you their show they always end with that. I can't remember if you've seen
Okay.
that or heard that or not. They time it together. So it's like until next time, and then everybody at the same time tries to say, "That's no moon" at the same
baby.
time. Yeah, it's
Okay.
kind of fun. Yeah, the baby he added on for fun. Maybe that was a nod to his last story. That was so funny listening to Kyle try to get those babies in when she was doing the
Oh God, yes.
"Hey baby"
I still had to put some clips together and play like the
outtakes.
outtakes of that.
Yeah, you do. That'd be fun.
Oh, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, when you just set your girlfriend down with no, like, I just like, hey, I need you to read a couple of lines here.
Right.
What is this?
No context.
He was so frustrated. And then it was so late. I was like, well, just read these lines. And she's like, well, what does this go to? What is this? So we're trying to read this story, and I'm trying to give her like a quick hint of what it is. And oh, man.
She kept asking so many questions, and it's funny because you could just hear you kind of off mic going, no, try it again. You got to do it. You're trying to be calm.
Because she was amped up.
There were a couple times even where you were like, you did it. Like, do it like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it went on for like 30 minutes, and it was for about 2 minutes of dialogue.
Right.
It was pretty funny.
Didn't you you sent her like a tweet or a DM or something telling her you were laughing at it or something?
Yes, I DM'd you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. So, yeah, I want to hear those outtakes. Those are fun. Thank you very much, Brown Leader, for sending that in. Appreciate it. You get some entries for that.
Boom. I hope you win the toys.
The toys.
Thanks for listening, everybody. And until next time, let's do my pregnant pauses.
Cerveza cristal. Cerveza cristal.
Laugh it up, Buzzballs.
I was thinking about writing some promos for the show of that.
You should. Easy to work in.
Maybe
I mean,
I'll
that
do
shit
that.
took over the Twitter, Star Wars Twitter anyway,
Yeah,
for
it
like
did.
3 days in a row. There was just all you saw.
Uh-huh. And
Pretty
they
funny.
started inserting them into other movies.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, so it unless they were like the same thing they did over in Chile for other movies, and then they were just playing those clips.
I
I'm
think
not quite
some
sure.
of them were. I think they didn't just do it for Star Wars. I think some
Right.
of those were legit. But it gets to a point where you're like, I don't know now if this is legit or if somebody just made this.
Yeah, I know, I love it. All right, we have spoken.